always thought fractures will unite, and I always tell the patients, we just align the fractures, they will unite by themselves. And the study which changed the clinical practice was this in JBJS in 1997. We showed of the 52 patients, 8 had non-union, 16 had unsatisfactory results, 13 had residual pain, and 15 had brachial plexus neuralgia, which was quite an underestimate we always had. We always thought they will unite with a bump, or if there is a clapping sound, they will have full range of movement and the show must go on. Another study, we thought since they got a full range of movement, as we saw in previous films, they are very happy with that. Far from it. If you compare their shoulder strength and endurance with the normal test arm, assuming they don't have another fracture on the other side of the clavicle, it is staggeringly low. And they keep on doing the activities, but there is always a pain and discomfort. Few absolute indications where you must operate. For me, it is a greater than more than 2 centimeter displacement, neurovascular injuries, and these are the things which we found while typing absolute indication for ORIF of clavicle. Best thing is to go for a double-blind RCT study, which we have found from the Royal Free Hampstead. Canadian study is also very good, which Dr. Dhar has previously showed in his study. 301 adults in both the groups. Non-union is a term which took me by surprise, but it is basically bridging callus and pain at the fracture site. Secondary outcome was measured at 9 months, and limb function was measured by DASH score and constant Murley scores. At 3 months, there was no difference, but non-union rate was significantly lower, 0.8% only in non-operative group. And patient satisfaction survey, which is the most important, you might have a bump, you might have a normal range of movement, but still you might have a pain. So that is something we need to look at. I am not a great fan of this meta-analysis because the numbers are staggering, but still if you look into this Cochrane database, mid-shaft clavicle, there is a non-union rate of 15%, and if you operate non-union, what this study shows is your results are not very promising, or they don't match with the first study. Again, comparison of the plate fixation, again the similar thing, non-union, and faster recovery with ORIF of the clavicle. We always thought non-union is something to be worried about. It is just a clapping sound, or at the most some discomfort and disfigurement. There is an altered shoulder biomechanics which causes pain, and there have been evidence that there is a compression lesions involving brachial plexus neuralgia and sometimes vascular injuries also. Lost wages. You'll just see by doing ORIF, you're gaining 2 weeks more compared to conservative treatment, and 1 week for implant removal and infection, 2 weeks on an average they have calculated. Operative treatment was almost cost effectiveness because we always assume that operation is very costly and with not known benefits. So Henry Ford Hospital in Detroit in Michigan, where it is mostly litigation friendly country, they have studies of union rates and quicker return to works with the operative treatment. But does operative treatment result in improved clinical outcomes? For which they have taken, this is from the US labor statistics, quale years they have calculated. For it to be useful, the treatment has to be less than $50,000, and the effect has to persist for more than 3 years, and not a short term. So the clinical benefit has persisted for 3 years, and in some studies, up to 9 years from the date of operation. So it's a cost-effective thing. Sequelae from fracture clavicles are quite common. We have repeated them, so I don't want to repeat, but this is another study in OrthoActa at 2005 August. Shall we be fixing each and every clavicle under the roof? I am terribly sorry if that is the impression I am giving. These are some of the non-operative indications, evidence-based. Less than 2 centimeter shortening, 1 centimeter displacement, closed fracture, no neurovascular injury, low demand patients. These can be very well managed conservatively. Since 2008, there is a growing trend for operating on the pediatric cases, but there is no evidence in the literature to suggest it strongly. This has been discussed. Disadvantages of conservative treatment. Operative management. Plating, we have got nice implants, superior and anterior plating. Complications of the operation, yes. Like any other ORIF, we have complications and we have to discuss that with the patient. It could be infection, neurovascular injury, supraclavicular nerve injuries can cause numbness, and that could be very annoying for the patient underneath his collar, pneumothorax and non-union. Just to show complications of ORIF, this is an international patient being referred. I was on leave that time. This was removed, and after 3 days, that was the X-ray. Again, it ended up in ORIF and bone grafting. So everything has got its own issues. So ORIF is not to be taken very lightly. What about sports person? Fair enough, you are offering this surgery for more than 2 centimeter displacement with a high demand patient. Sports person, so Morgan have published in American Journal of Sports Medicine, look into this 13 displaced fracture, 6 out of 13 who got ORIF, returned to sports was at 8.8 weeks, 7 out of 13 non-operated patients returned to sports was in 13.3 weeks. Now that is a clause now, 4 out of 7 have got refracture while playing American soccer. Loss of 1.5 session miss. Conclusion is displaced fracture in contact sports personnel, you should think about ORIF. Conclusion is what we have been always stressing, improved results with the ORIF, improved functional outcome, faster time for union, a very reduced non-union and malunion rates, improved cosmetic satisfaction, and most importantly, increased shoulder strength and endurance. Complications, let me remind you again, we have discussed, can it be managed conservatively? We have found the data which suggest these fractures should be managed conservatively, and I have just presented that before that. So a young patient with a high demand, with a high displacement, I would strongly recommend, I am compelled to recommend ORIF of the fracture clavicle for this person. Bone will unite. I always tell my patient, come what may. Now look at that fracture neck of femur which has united. There is a varus, there is a shortening, there is a Tenenberg's gait. Will it be a very acceptable result? I won't recommend that you compare non-union with a malunion and malunion as a end point and something which is very desirable in a young patient. Always speak to the patient, give them an informed decision and let them make an informed consent. And in young adult with a high demand, we would strongly recommend operative intervention. Fix them early. That will be my advice. Thank you so much.